Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bo Talks Games, and it is November 19th, which means we just got our reviews for Kirby Air Riders. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Metacritic score and taking a look at all of the reviews ranging from a 10 out of 10 all the way down to a 4 out of 10 and kind of see where people are really landing on this new Kirby game, because even leading up to release, I played it at PAX West. I played a little bit of the test ride. I think there's a lot to really like about Kirby Air Riders, but I do think it's going to be one of those games where it is either like for you and you are so into it and you master those mechanics and you just really get into what Sakurai has created here, and doing all of the challenges and stuff that are very common in all of his games. That huge challenge board is so satisfying to complete. I think there are also going to be a lot of people that play this, and I don't want to say they just don't get it, because it's fine if you get it and also don't like it, but I think it's not going to click for a lot of people. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at all of the reviews, see what the review score is, and I kind of just talk about Kirby Air Riders, which is releasing later tonight or tomorrow, depending on where you are, what time zone you're in. Let's get into it. Okay, welcome back to the channel. Apologies if my voice sounds a little weird. I am getting off of a cold right now. So here we are over on Metacritic. The game is currently sitting at a 78 with 65 critic reviews. That's actually interesting. I was kind of looking at Hyrule Warriors, 1 point lower than Hyrule Warriors. So this is the month of the 7 or close to 8 out of 10 for Nintendo, I suppose. I'm actually curious. I don't know if there's any data for this because it was so long ago. Yeah, Kirby Air Ride, the original, has a 61 on Metacritic on 28 critic reviews. So this is a big step up over that, but once again, that's only 28 reviews, so not quite a big enough sample size there. This is more than double that, and it's at a 78. So that's pretty good. I mean, certainly this is a big step up over the original with so much more content, playable characters. I mean, the original didn't even have other characters that you could really play as, not to this degree anyway. So a 78, I was kind of expecting in like the mid 80s, maybe low 80s, something like that, just based off of what I had played. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these reviews here and see what people are actually saying about this game here. So first up, we have Siliconera. They gave it a perfect 10. They gave it 100, which is kind of crazy. Their little excerpt reads here: I knew I'd like Kirby Air Riders since I enjoyed the GameCube original, but I didn't expect this game to feel stronger than Mario Kart World. Is anyone else tired of these comparisons? If you've played Kirby Air Ride or Air Riders, you know that, like, yeah, okay, the Air Ride mode is a racing mode. That's fair. But the majority of the game is not even really comparable to Mario Kart World. I'm seeing so many people like, oh, Mario Kart World versus Air Ride versus Sonic. It's like Kirby Air Ride's kind of over here. It's like it's not even really in like the conversation in my mind. But I keep seeing people compare it. Anyway, they say it's so enjoyable and robust. There's room for both racers on the Switch too, of course. But if I had to pick a favorite and never touch the other game again, I'd pick Kirby Air Riders every time. So very glowing review from them over there. That's the highest review for this game. I wasn't really expecting any 10s, but that's kind of what I'm saying. Like there's a 40 we'll get to in this video, 4 out of 10. There's going to be people that really love this game and stick with it and really understand like the nuance of the mechanics and really like master that. And City Trial especially, I think, is going to be like the really time consuming mode. But there are also people that are just going to not want to put that time in and just don't really care to, and they're not going to have fun with it. Kind of on a surface level, I guess. Nintendo says here, Kirby Air Riders lands on the Nintendo Switch 2 as the comeback nobody expected, but once it's in your hands, it feels almost inevitable. Sakurai brings back the experimental essence of Kirby Air Ride and boosts it with the ambition of a modern console, more modes, more characters, more vehicles, and a flood of ideas that keep the formula alive without betraying its spirit. Yeah, it's really interesting, because if you watch the directs, especially that second one, it's weird that, like, this is essentially a remake. Like, everything that was in the original Air Ride, all the top ride maps, all the Air Ride maps, like, they are in this game. The only thing that's missing is the original City Trial map, I believe, which is kind of crazy. Like, we got a remake that then also just has an entire new game on top of it, which is just kind of cool. And it really does feel like, if you've played Kirby Air Ride, you've played Kirby Air Riders. In terms of like what you're really getting, just boosted up to a new level in terms of content and stuff. So a 95 from them. Tierra Gamer says Kirby Air Riders shines with creative and accessible gameplay. Based on what I played, I don't know if I agree with that. I guess like control wise, you're pressing like 1 or 2 buttons. They say it evolves from simple to deep, once again showcasing Sakurai's brilliance. It's one button mechanics, varied modes, addictive progression. That's what I'm excited for. I'm doing all those challenges. Oh, I cannot wait. And extensive unlockable content make it a fun, solid, and surprisingly complete experience. A unique title that stands out for its style, pacing, and personality. Very cool there. CG Magazine, Kirby Air Riders combines tight controls, excellent gameplay, and a plethora of content to make the best mascot racing game on the Nintendo Switch 2. They didn't name drop Sonic or Mario Kart World, but they had to include that there, which is funny. I'm excited for Air Ride, like the actual like Air Ride mode, because you could do it offline in the test ride, and I got to play a little bit at PAX West behind closed doors. Shout out to Nintendo for inviting me. But that's what I'm excited to really dive deep into, and seeing like what I will get out of that in terms of like playtime. I guess that'll come down to like the challenge board and unlockables, and doing all the different costumes and stuff and getting the gummies. I don't even know if that's going to be actually that engaging, but I'm really excited to hop online on Air Ride on the actual racing mode tomorrow night. Gaming Bible gave it a 9, saying Kirby Air Riders may fall short in terms of track selection compared to Mario Kart World, but I'll be damned if it isn't the best racing game released this year and one of the best first-party Nintendo games to launch on the Nintendo Switch 2. To be fair, there's like 5 of those. It's not like it's a huge pool of like truly exclusive games. But yeah, once again, just comparing it to Mario Kart World, saying it's better, which is kind of weird to me. But Scream Rant 9 out of 10 for me. Kirby Air Riders manages to stand head and shoulders above Mario Kart World as one of the definitive racing games on the Switch platform. Every review they can't help themselves. They must mention Mario Kart World. Atomics gave it a 9 out of 10, saying for those feeling nostalgic for the GameCube version, I promise you'll have an amazing time. It's the same concept, but executed almost to perfection. If you grew up with the original and you liked it, you will almost certainly like this game because it's the same game with way more content added on top. IG in Spain says Kirby Air Riders is a fun and addictive racing game with simple yet deep controls, featuring a variety of game modes, unlockable characters and vehicles, a charming visual style that, combined with its smooth performance, delivers excitement and adrenaline in every race. Kind of moving around here, most people are really mentioning the air ride mode, which is something I'm kind of curious with these reviews, and that's I'm not sure if like the servers were active, because I mean, this is such an online game. I would say this is even more online oriented than like Mario Kart World, where that has the open world that you're doing stuff in and you're doing the Grand Prix. And this has the like a little roguelike mode that you're kind of going through, like the classic Smash mode where you're just kind of going through doing some stuff with like random Kirby NPCs. I think it's called Road Trip. So there is single player content here, but to me, this is going to be even more of an online experience than Mario Kart World was. And I wonder like how much these reviewers really got to do in terms of online. Over the past 2 weeks, I assume they've had review codes. Okay, we're getting down towards like the 80 range. Player 2 gave it an 83, saying never before has a Kirby game made me feel so inadequate as a gamer while also making me want to become better. Enjoyable in short bursts. Those who dive into its systems and challenges will find their efforts rewarded. So that's the thing, right? You're either gonna play it for 30 minutes to an hour and just not really want to dive deep and like really learn it, and it's not going to be for you because I think it might be kind of hard to get into. But for those that really want to master it, I think there's going to be so much depth here. And also, I mean, for me, I'm a completionist. I love 100% in games. Like, that's going to be the real thing, is just like doing that challenge board and kind of maxing that out. Nintendo Life gave it an 8 here, saying Kirby Air Riders is a cracking sequel that gives solo players much more to dig into with its story campaign, while also bringing all new levels of shiny graphics, bells and whistles to its returning city trial, air ride, and top-down racing modes. This is a chaotic and frenzied racer, there's no doubt, but it's got depth for those who wish to learn and plenty of competition to be had both online and at harder difficulties for diehards, with lots of excellent tracks, riders, and machines to unlock, sat alongside some surprisingly deep machine customization. Kirby's latest air riding adventure is off to a strong start. Oh, and that soundtrack. Oh, I'm excited for the soundtrack. I guess I wasn't really like paying too much attention in the test ride, which admittedly I did not play much of the test ride. Actually, I probably played more at PAX West than in the test ride. I was busy with Hyrule Warriors and then some other stuff that came up. So I will say, like, the reaction to the test ride seemed, it's weird. Like, once again, it's 50-50. You either love it or you hate it, I feel like, in terms of like really learning the mechanics and just like it being kind of a crazy, crazy experience in City Trial. You get the speed boost and you start flying across the map, VGC gave it an 8, saying Kirby Air Riders really didn't need a combined 107 minutes of Nintendo Direct presentations to sell players on its merits, because it only takes a few races to see how fun it could be. Road Trip's modes and balanced win conditions will divide players, but the brilliantly diverse Road Trip, which is built with multiple playthroughs in mind, and the hefty 750 mission checklist ensure solo players will have plenty to do. I assume they mean City Trial here when they say imbalanced win condition, because then they say that brilliantly diverse Road Trip. So yeah, certain modes are going to be for certain players. I'm actually pretty excited for Top Ride. I know it's kind of like the side mode, like no one really cares about Top Ride. I'm excited to play that because I actually really enjoyed it and the original. I like this from Mara Station. They say Kirby Air Riders is a very special and unique game that only Sakurai-san could achieve. Yes, this is very much a Sakurai game, just through and through. Like, everything about it has that, not just Smash Bros. DNA, but also Kid Icarus Uprising. Like, if you have played any of those, any of his games, you can immediately tell, like, okay, This is a Sakurai game. Okay, we have an 8 from IGN. They say, I'm not sure what's crazier, the fact that Kirby Air Riders exists or the fact that it's this great. It's a blast in local or online multiplayer during its traditional races and unique battle mode, and it's frankly absurd amount of fun achievements to chase, meaningful unlockables, and deep customization makes it great for solo players too. The biggest hurdle to enjoying its dizzying amounts of content is how it all controls, as its frantic pace and slippery one-button control scheme is endearingly novel, but occasionally too simple for its own good. Air Riders just can't help itself in sticking a little too closely to its original blueprint at times, making it not as approachable to pick up and play as Mario Kart and not as technically rewarding or competitively viable as a fighting game like Super Smash Bros. But if you're willing to go along for the ride, you're in for a chaotic action racing game that's a great time with friends and offers a ton to do on your own. I think that's a very fair assessment of not just this new one based on what I played, but also the original. Let's go ahead and scroll down here and get to some of these, more middling reviews, the 7 out of 10s here. Let's see. Critical Hit says Kirby Air Riders delivers a unique racing concept with counterintuitive controls and innovative mechanics. The learning curve is steep, which contrasts with the character's friendly appearance. The city challenge mode adds strategic depth but may confuse casual players. Despite being technical and fun, the game feels out of place compared to more accessible options in this genre. I'm curious what other options in this genre they're viewing. I'm sure they're just comparing it to like Mario Kart World or Sonic Racing, but this is a battle racing game. So even like Air Ride is not quite the same as something else. I don't know. It's so hard to compare this game to those, in my opinion. Game Cult gave it a 7, saying, with its many customization options and the simply fun nature of its gameplay, Kirby Air Riders makes a strong first impression from the very first sessions. Beneath a deceptive feeling of simplicity lies a surprising amount of depth, one that takes hours and hours to fully master. Still, the experience may start to feel a bit repetitive after a while. Unfortunately, the generous shots of dopamine the game delivers struggle to keep the player engaged past the 10-hour mark. There's no doubt, however, that competitive players in search of yet another frantic, fluorescent, borderline epileptic thrill ride will find exactly what they're looking for. That's a pretty good description. I feel like there's going to be some people that are just so into it, and I'm sure those people have probably already played the test ride, and I'm sure they already know that they're going to love it. It's just so great that Nintendo did that, because I'm sure internally they knew like some people will be put off by it and just how it plays, but also it's good for them to like actually let people just give it a shot and be like, okay, I don't want to buy this, or okay, I definitely want to buy this. I love a good Nintendo beta. We have a 6 out of 10 from a comicbook.com here. They say, even with a ton of collectibles to unlock and challenges to take on, I can't see myself returning to Kirby Air Riders much in the future. This is a racer that tries to buck many of the genre's most traditional conventions, which at the very least makes it quite memorable. Ultimately, though, the content on hand in Air Riders wears thin in no time, which leads to it being a game that you'll put down sooner than you might anticipate. I guess I feel like that, once again, I mean, they mentioned collectibles and unlock and challenges, but I guess you'll feel that depending on how much you really want to actually 100% the game, right? I'm a completionist. I know I'm going to have so much time and put so many hours into this game because of that challenge board and just doing them. Even if like maybe I get tired of it eventually, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to lock in and buckle down and do all the challenges. So I'm excited for that. Multiplayer IT gave it a 65, saying Kirby Air Riders is a mix between a racing game and an action game packaged in a structure reminiscent of a party game. The racing portion is certainly the most substantial, but none of its components would stand alone. Its soul lies precisely in the fusion of these genres. That's not what stopped us, however. The best Nintendo games are renowned for being both immediate and profound. Kirby Air Riders is too chaotic for immediacy and too superficial for depth. Everything else, however, is excellently executed. Numerous modes, many options, numerous characters and vehicles, good graphics, and cutscenes that are even excessive given the context. I'm excited for that, like the really high quality, like just, Kirby cutscenes where like some crazy stuff's happening in the world of Kirby is really fun. Given the context in terms of the technical quality, I cut that off there. Despite its limitations, it's still a game with original DNA. It will find its own niche among fans. So, I mean, they gave it a 65, but like this is that's a really good write-up in my opinion of like, just like, hey, there's some certain aspects of this game that are not that good, but there is still so much here that Sakurai has packaged so much into this game that, like, I don't know, man. That's a lot. There's a lot to this game, and I feel like, I don't know. I'm excited to play it tomorrow. I really cannot wait to hop in. Now we do have our friends over at Metro Game Central here. They gave it the lowest review. A couple outlets here did like a review in progress, I guess because of the online. They want to make sure they really test it with the public. But Metro Game Central is back with another 4 out of 10. If you remember, they actually gave, where is it here? Yeah, they're the ones that gave Hyrule Warriors a 4 out of 10, saying that like Dynasty Warriors needs to go away and all that stuff, which maybe get someone who doesn't hate Dynasty Warriors to review it, but also that's valid as well. I feel like, you got to get someone who you get all these different perspectives. But anyway, they're back with another 4 out of 10 here. They say the most baffling Nintendo release of recent years, with a quasi remake of one of the GameCube's worst games that seems specifically designed to irritate and confuse would-be players. Now, I was honestly curious. I was like, okay, maybe Metro Game Central just hates Nintendo. And I don't think that's true. I mean, I was looking through, I kind of got to scroll through a lot of stuff here. But like they gave, I think it was a 7 out of 10 to Zelda, 7 out of 10 for Dragon Quest. That's a little low. That's a little low, but it's fair. It's fair. Yeah, 80 for Ninja Gaiden. 70 for Legend ZA. So, 30 for Fire Emblem Shadows. That's actually very valid. I definitely agree with that score. That game's horrible. But then, they gave it 10 for Mario Galaxy. So I wanted to make sure it's like, okay, maybe they just hate Nintendo, which is fair, I guess, if you just don't like Nintendo games, but also why you're reviewing them. But also, like I said, like, you got to get those other perspectives. But yeah, they gave it a 4 out of 10, which just seems brutal to me, based on what I played. Like, I've played some truly bad games in my time, and I feel like maybe like Dragon Drive would maybe be a 4 out of 10, but even that I really don't know. That's maybe like a 4 to a 5 in that range for Kirby Air Riders, considering how much content it has. And I mean, I don't know, seems a bit brutal, but yeah, I guess they're just more critical of games over there at the old Metro Game Central. But that is going to do it for today's video. Just wanted to take a look at all of these Kirby Air Riders reviews with you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Do you think these reviews are illustrative of maybe if you played the test ride or played it at an event? Do you think that this is a fair representation of the game? Obviously, we do not have access to the full game yet, but we will very soon. Actually, I guess depending on what country you're in, you can actually play it right now. I decided not to do like the New Zealand trick this time around. I'm just going to wait and get my physical copy tomorrow. But I feel like this game's going to be divisive, and that's fine. It is kind of a niche concept in general, but I'm excited to play it. I don't know how much time I'll put into it immediately. Maybe it's one of those games I kind of play off and on throughout the years, and eventually 100%, or maybe I'll pick it up and I'll be so hooked on it that I just kind of blast through it in a couple of weeks and do 100% immediately. I'm excited. I'm excited to play it. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's going to be a fun time. Especially a lot of people in these reviews mentioned like it's a kind of like a party game. Like you're going to have, friends, family over, whatever, playing it as a party game. So I'm excited. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you picking up Kirby Air Riders tonight or tomorrow? I would love to get a conversation going. Of course, as always, subscribe here for more Kirby Air Riders content and Nintendo Switch 2 coverage in general. I will have a review up for this game in a couple of days once I put some time into it. And then Prime 4 is right around the corner, man. The Nintendo release calendar recently is nuts. Like how much they're just releasing back to back Pokemon into Hyrule Warriors, into Kirby, into Metroid, into the Pokemon DLC, and then next year we're starting off strong early on with Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 Edition, and then Mario Tennis, and it's a non-stop buffet of Nintendo games recently. So let me know your thoughts. Follow here for more Nintendo coverage, and until next time, folks, peace.